Welcome back. United Airlines. Let's trade it because it was upgraded today to buy from neutral at Goldman Sachs. That firm sees the stock climbing a whopping 32%. They say shares fell too far on China fears. It's our call of the day. Pete, you own it.
Yeah.
UAL.
Yep. And I agree with them. I think there's plenty of upside here. We talk about the airlines all the time being inexpensive. It's like the financials, though. All of them are always inexpensive, and are they going to move to the upside? I think now is the time where United actually can outperform. They got a 108 price target on this. And to me, a lot of it makes sense. They're talking about the trade issues with China as being one of those aspects. Let's also talk about oil. I mean, we talk about the input costs. There's a lot of different things here at play right now that I think play in the favor of what United has become. I think for a long time, Scott, they were not well run, and that's why I was always preferring Delta over United. But now I think it's almost flipped a little bit. I think United has far more upside than a Delta, and definitely more upside than American, that still has to deal with all sorts of negotiations with their employees.
You think the stock's done nothing all because of trade?
No, but I think that's partially priced in. And let's be honest, I mean, I think a lot of these airlines...
I ask you that because year to date, I'm sorry, I say year to date, the stock is down.
Yeah.
It's virtually flat.
And some of these names, I think, were probably oversold. In some of that got caught up with the whole Boeing thing. Some of the names got hit a lot harder than other names. That maybe when you really look at the exposure level in terms of, you know, the plane everybody was so concerned about, that's sort of, I think, overplayed for a while as well. Yeah. I still haven't been willing, and I know Kevin bought Boeing and owns Boeing. I'm still not willing to buy Boeing until I see it a lot closer to 300.
We talked about, Kevin, how American Airlines has had the big jump in June.
Yes.
Remember, we did that at the very top of the show.
Yeah.
Now here's this with an upgrade. You own any airlines at all?
No, my feeling has been...
You're just playing it from the Boeing side?
Well, I bought a 1% position. I got my toe back in, and the stock has been dead money since I bought it. The news is getting worse. We now know there's no new orders from any of these airlines we're talking about. And now we seem to have a slowdown in how we're going to get this thing released. I still like Boeing down at, you know, under 300. I like it 288 to 300. That's my range to put on my 5% position. I'm waiting for more bad news. It's going to break.
So you put on a starter position.
I put on 1% to stay in the name at 346. And here we are at 347. Who cares? And I think the news, we're going to get a piece of news that's going to break it down below 300, between 288 and 300. I've been in this name for 7 years. I know the personality of the stock. It is giving credit to management. But even you got the first rumors of management, you know, getting squeezed by investors now, talking, saying maybe we've got to make a change. You heard that last week. That's news. Then you got no orders, you know, out of the blue. He says, I haven't had a single...
Mullenberg, the CEO, was on the network.
And then...
said he's the guy for the job. He was asked point blank.
Ryanair president says, I'm telling you what I'm going to do. I'm not ordering anything, but when this thing finally gets approved to fly again, I'm going to squeeze Boeing heads like a teenage pimple on price. If they want my orders again, it's going to be brutal on their margins. He came out and said that. So
that's another O'Leary, isn't it?
Yes. I love the way...
You know what I'm told from talking to some people that I've had the chance to talk to in the last, couple of days, is that the big issue with Boeing doesn't come once the MAX gets back in the air and trade issues and things like that and orders from China, that the issues don't center around the MAX and the 737s and those size planes going forward, that the wide body planes are the ones to keep an eye on. Because if China changes its wide body orders from Boeing, that is a big problem.
Yeah.
Well, the MAX, that's 21% of cash flow, and there is no MAX right now. So at some point, that's going to start to show up in the quarters. 21% of free cash flow. So if this thing goes to a structural redesign, I guarantee you'll be able to buy some at 288.